Hey everybody, how you doing? I just chiming in. I know it's 10 o'clock, 10:09 in the West, which means it's 10:09 in California and in Nevada, and it's 1:09 here. I'm not going to make this long, but I did bring this out because I saw a piece of information that I felt had to be really, really cleared up because it's just not true. And yeah, it's spread all over the place. And it's, you know, and it's exemplary of, well, it just happens today. And people are so anxious to get out what they think is the right news from the right source that they fall over themselves. And yet, if I put the information out, they wouldn't use me as the echo, which really shows you how sick our media system is. And I'm saying it just like that. Okay. Just like that. All right. What is it? It's this. Breaking, it reads. Breaking is what it reads. It says, JJ Texans X, JJ Watt narrows choices to 3 NFL teams report. And this is from Sports Illustrated. Okay. And that was an hour ago. All right. And then when you go to it, okay, it comes up and it unfolds and it reads, when it finishes unfolding, well, it's got this interesting little commercial, okay, that it asks you to sort of like wait until it goes by and all that, and you really can't get rid of it. That's the sign of our times. But then, eventually you think it's going to, maybe if I hit this X, it goes away. And okay, then I scroll down here, right? And I can't quite see.
And they need help all across the board.
All right.
We've suggested Kawan Short, the defensive tackle from Carolina. And this isn't because Short solves all the problems. That's not it at all. He's in his 30s. He's been banged up for the last couple of years. Panthers defensive tackles, by the way, in the last couple of years that have moved elsewhere, that hasn't worked very well. Gerald McCoy, in his 30s, went to Dallas and got hurt right away.
I just want to make a note, folks. When you look at the camera, always look at the lens that picks up your eye. Okay? Don't look at yourself on the screen. Look at the lens that picks up your eyes so that you're communicating that you're talking to people, not to somebody else. He's not doing that. I just want to make that point. As now back to the stuff here. Okay? There.
Terry Poe, in his 30s, went to Dallas and could not play a lick. Can Short still play? Here's why we match him up with the Texans. Frankly, beggars can't be choosers. The truth about the Texans situation is this is not a destination city. Now, you look around the NFL, and other teams have made them into that. J.J. Watt to Cleveland? Cleveland's a destination city right now? Guess so. Buffalo, destination city? You bet. So there's still hope that Houston can be that again, some way, someday.
Wrong.
But right now, players like Short probably be on the short list because not only do the Texans have to figure out a way to attract themselves to players, they got to figure out a way to get players to be attracted to them.
All right, so I'm going to stop this right here because it's wrong. All right, first of all, the headline that, got my attention is that J.J. Watt narrowed. J.J. Watt did not narrow anything, okay? J.J. Watt did not narrow anything. In fact, the person who actually broke this story is a friend of mine, John Clayton, from ESPN Seattle, okay? And John worded very carefully what he said. He didn't say the Raiders were out of the running at all. They didn't listen. This is what happens. People don't listen. And when somebody doesn't listen, right? And they don't listen, and then they put out something, they go running with it. Run. What you get, okay, is this dealie where people wind up making a lot of mistakes. And what happens is that because John said it on radio, he's got to put out a tweet like this one, which reads, and I quote, if I can actually zoom in on it, and I will, and I'm zooming in. It reads, and I'm going to zoom in one more, actually twice. Let's zoom in there. And just once more again for feeling. And I believe that's better. And now you can read what he says more clearly. And he writes, people are misinterpreting what I said on radio today. I said Tennessee, Green Bay, and Buffalo were the leading teams for J.J. Watt, but not the final three. Watt hasn't narrowed his list. The Cleveland Browns are still in it. So are the Raiders. Note that. Okay, I'm going to highlight that. So are the Raiders. Okay. All right. Boom. So are the Raiders. He has a dozen teams after him. Okay. He has a dozen teams. You can see that right clear. You can see that. Boom. He's got a dozen teams. You want to make that even clearer so you can see it like that? Boom. There it is. People are misinterpreting what I said on radio today. I said Tennessee, Green Bay, and Buffalo were the leading teams for J.J. Watt, but not the final three. Watt hasn't narrowed his list. Now, John, I think, made a mistake. When he says leading, he didn't explain what that meant. We get this sort of like pandemic of people not really explaining things. Leading means what? Do they lead in terms of salary offer? Do they lead in terms of housing costs or lack thereof? Maybe they're cheaper. What does he mean? What does leading mean? I think Tennessee, Green Bay, and Buffalo, I think Republican. Is he Republican? He wants to a Republican city? What does that mean? Right? What does that mean? Is Buffalo Republican? I know Green Bay, okay, you get the idea. Tennessee's weird. But, well, it's a Republican, but it's got a lot of Democrats because there's a lot of folks that look like me in it too. All right. What the heck does that mean? Leaning. I got to ask John myself. Not tonight. It's too late. But again, this is still, you know what this makes it? This makes it as clear as mud. Clear as mud. All right. I mean, what clear as mud? What does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Okay. Here's the thing. Here's why. All right. My point is the Raiders really do need to go after J.J. Watt. Why? The current defensive tackles are 6'2" and 6'3" respectively. They're starters. All right. J.J. Watt is 6'5". J.J. Watt is a multi-year All-Pro. You know the story. Okay. J.J. Watt would be a fine addition. Can you imagine the young Max Crosby playing alongside J.J. Watt? Ooh, that would be a pairing, don't you think? Or how about you want to have some real fun? Put J.J. Watt over on the right side with Cleveland Farrell for an occasional, TE stunting. Why not? Okay. I mean, can you imagine that? The problem with the Raiders right now, defensively, is they don't seem to have focused on. I think that might be changing with they're bringing in Irving, who's 6'7" as an end, right? But the leading defensive lines in the NFL consist of big, fast dudes. And the Raiders people are not, by and large, all big and fast. J.J. Watt's big and fast. Okay. He's effective in the middle. He's 6'5". Irving's 6'7". Does this now if the Raiders do land J.J. Watt, that to me would indicate a leaning toward a new defensive strategy that consists or is built around bigger defensive people. Now, at the end of the day, is that what the new defensive coordinator Gus wants? Gus works with Mike, and they, so you have to think that he has the in say of what the Raiders do here, okay? And that's quite obviously the situation, right? With Gus Bradley. Does he want somebody like a Joey Bosa, who he had with the Chargers? I would think so. I think Max Crosby gets him close to that, But if you bring in J.J. Watt, a defensive tackle, who basically draws double and triple teams, wow. You, in my view, you make Max Crosby an all-pro overnight. Okay? Overnight. Is that the strategy? If not, who are they going to go after? The Raiders' problems defensively are schematic and personnel in terms of lack of focus, because last year, at least leading up to NFL 2020, what was the watchword for Raiders defense? Speed. Remember that? We got to get faster. Why? Kansas City. Okay? The Raiders did that. Still lost to Kansas City. Didn't get the pass rush. Had to deal with the pandemic, which caused all kinds of problems. But at the end, what did we see? We saw the teams that had big, fast defensive lines get further into the season and emerge in the end. I mean, the Niners had issues. The Niners, I thought, got rid of Buckner, and they shouldn't have. And I thought they sort of started to break up that band for reasons I'm not quite clear of, maybe injury, maybe the coronavirus, whatever. They just weren't themselves. And I haven't really had a chance to sit down and analyze what happened with the San Francisco 49ers last year. I will. So anyway, but I want to get this out that, first of all, the information you heard about J.J. Watt is wrong. J.J. Watt is still very much looking at the possibility of joining the Las Vegas Raiders. That's not off the table. And I'll find out for myself what the difference between all these teams are. John said in his tweet that he has a dozen. A dozen is, a dozen's, well, if a half dozen is 6. That's a lot of teams. That's like, you get a chance, you get a chance, you get a chance, you get a chance, you get a chance. I get it, okay? So, well, stay tuned, folks. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark. Please, if you haven't done so before, please do so. Please, 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 please bookmark Oakland News Now. All right, I'll see you. That ends this broadcast.